Hello, this is Mike and Andrea Groubert. We are here today to discuss some training techniques that we have found to be pretty effective. We buy between 20 and 30 prospects a year for polo and for other disciplines, but primarily polo. So here, Andrea is getting on a 2-year-old we bought a few months ago. We primarily bring them home from the track and get right on them. So this mare's had about 10 rides and then was actually given some time off, pulled her shoes and just give her some time to settle down. So she has had a little bit of work, but it gives them a sense of what we want them to do, and then when we start riding them back. So this mare, again, hasn't been sat on in probably about 3 weeks. So she mounted real well, and Andrea was able to walk her off without any issues. So here we are just working the horse out, just moving her around, giving her a little exercise, kind of seeing what, where she's pulling, what's she doing, is she hanging on the bit. Just little things you notice there with her head to the left there. She kind of was pulling out a little bit, but those are all things that we look for, so that when we start doing this next technique that we can start to rectify a lot of that stuff. So Andrea's just moving around here at a nice even pace and trying to again just evaluate the horse, and we do that each time. Evaluate before we start going. So now we're looking at Andrea starting to work in a circle to the left. What we're trying to do here is, oh, there she goes as she pulls off to the right. So the horse kind of pulled off there a little bit. So we're going to go back to start here. And this mare is starting to walk her circle. We want her to walk a circle without stopping or pivoting at this point. We want her just to keep flowing there. She kind of set back a little bit, but she's walking pretty well. Andrea's pulling her face into the center, and that's what we want. We want her to give that face, and she's also using her outside leg to help push her over, as well with a little bit of inside leg. Usually we ride with spurs and a whip, just as for taps and encouragement to try to keep them going in a forward motion. The less you have to fight with them, the easier it is on them, and they tend to fall into line pretty well. So again, we just keep walking this circle, and we're trying to teach her correct foot placement, so that in this case the left leg is always going to start reaching over the right leg, and we're looking for that back end foot to come in and plant and help with that turn. So this will lead us into being able to do stops and rollbacks and having the feet in the proper place, which allows you to make a much quicker turn than just stopping, getting your horse to kind of rear up a little bit and spin. A horse that turns correctly is always going to beat another horse to the ball, in this case, just by using the correct footwork. So again, we're constantly pulling that in. So she's working to the right, pulling her face in. This mare's doing a terrific job of following along with that. And she was from the get-go as well. When we started her, she just was always wanting to work a couple little things. But she's still, pretty uneven, not to where we would like to have them. So we just keep working this way. So we're working to the right now. Again, just it's a monotonous thing. You just kind of keep doing it, and the horses will settle into it. And at some point, they'll start to pivot and roll back on you, which we'll look at here in a minute. So now we've completed to the right, and now we're going to work to the left. Again, same regiment. You're pulling into the center as you're turning them. You're using outside leg, and you're wanting that face to come to you, which is to the inside of you. So it'll get to the point where this mare will start to learn that, oh, I don't really need to be tugged in there. I know what the rider wants, and they'll just start automatically sweeping to the inside. And again, these are large circles. As we move to a more finished horse, this becomes more of a plant the inside back leg, and they'll start to pivot. And right there, the mare started to do that. She started to plant that back foot and roll back on it. And her feet were in the correct posture. They were moving over the correct way. So in this case, the right is moving over top of the left. That way we don't get tangled up. Anytime a horse kind of sits back or spins on its back end, meaning they plant their front legs and spin on their front legs, they have a real good chance of getting caught up and falling. You know, in polo, we spend so much time stopping and turning that getting this to be second nature is just of the utmost importance. So there, Andrea's just changed the side of her whip. We do that just so that, you know, it's just an extra tool so that if that horse starts to push out, you can kind of tap the horse back in. The more you can have this horse doing the correct thing, it's muscle memory. The more they do it correctly, the better they are at it. So we want to constantly keep working at that. There, she just lifted off the inside hand and wasn't even holding the reins as she goes there. And the mare was still turning in. One of the things we do is once we turn them and they give, we release them and let them walk off when we get what we want. So sometimes when they're learning, if we drop that rein, they automatically want to straighten up just because they're like, oh, I've done it right. So you have to constantly just keep after it. It's an endless process. We do it with maid horses as well, just to tune on them. Doing this also helps tremendously in softening their mouth. So if you pick up a horse off the track that, you know, is pulling like it's training on the racetrack, which they're taught to do that, then, you know, this is going to really soften them up and help you not to have to pull so much. So here as we finish up, Andrea just kind of playing around, doing a couple last turns here, and I think she's going to walk her up to the mounting block and just step off of her just to show you how nice and kind this mare is and what this type of strategy does, you know, for you and your retired racehorse. So I hope that helps you out, and good luck with your projects, and looking forward to seeing you soon.